Hey, yo, Deadline's back. Today I want to talk about ARK Invest's new video about converging technologies. This is on the backdrop of Tesla Investor Day, and I think ARK Invest is widely misunderstood because we, again, us humans, we have a tendency to look at very short-term things, have this narrow and short-term focus. I think what ARK Invest is doing is groundbreaking, it's earth-shattering, it's innovation. I mean, they're basically just removing all the noise, all the media, and just focusing on what's important. They're laser focused on the innovations themselves and the economics behind them, the mathematics, the tech, software. I mean, just fundamentals. Again, going back to, as I always say, going back to fundamentals, to basics. Just, taking a step back. And before I start this video, I want to be very clear of how I see this, because if you go to the video, I will link it in the description. If you go to the video and you go to the comments section, it just illustrates my point exactly. The comments are filled with like snarky comments and like very rude people, just weird things, especially when someone is trying to explain a thesis behind something that is really complex and difficult to explain, difficult to research, I think, as well. I think the comment section illustrates perfectly how misunderstood everything is, and how especially the convergence of these things are very hard to grasp. All right, let's get into it. So, first of all, what is convergence of technologies? Well, the definition of that term is simply different technologies that are converging, which means that they are starting to work more and more together and meet in a collective space, so to speak. So, an example of this is, let's say, battery technology, and let's just say the technology of producing cars and batteries. So for Tesla to have a car that can go further, they need better batteries, and a better battery means that you will have a more efficient, better product of a car. And the innovation in batteries will make the car better, because then the battery at some point, as we are seeing now, can be integrated into the car as the structure itself, and then those two things are converging into a single product, the car and the battery itself. So he starts out by explaining how much he sees the market cap, so to speak, of this industry, of these technologies being as of now. He gives this number of 13 trillion. I have no idea if that's correct or not. Let's just go with it. You can, again, watch the video yourself and come up with your own conclusion and all that, but I just want to break it down really simple and talk about this concept of converging technologies. So he sees the industry of these technologies being at a value of 13 trillion. And by 2030, which is in 7 years, he sees the value growing to 200 trillion. Now that sounds completely insane, and I don't believe that for a second. But let's dive a little bit more deeper into it. So these technologies are robotics, which is as an example, the Tesla factories. They are utilizing robotics to manufacture the cars. Then we have AI, which we all know, artificial intelligence. And we then have genomics. He has a different word for it, but it's essentially genomics, which is gene sequencing and being able to manipulate our bodies and our DNA in a way that we can. Now I'm not an expert here, but it's simply just in a very very simple way. It's just we will be able to code our bodies, so to speak, remove illnesses and detect something earlier on than we can do now. And then the last one is public blockchains. And that's where it gets interesting, because blockchain is something that has really grabbed my attention, because there's a very clear opportunity to invest into blockchains. It's not obscure and difficult like it is with AI and robotics and genomics. It's really hard to see the more clear path when it comes to investing in those. I just think NFTs, blockchain, crypto, all this it's a lot easier to invest into right now. But so these are the four. I think there's one more actually he has in his slide. But these are the four main technologies that he is talking about and focusing on. And this is so exciting. So let's dive a little bit into this. So he gives an example of these technologies improving each other, which is it's fascinating to think about, because we all know that things utilize each other, and when one thing gets better, it improves something else, and it all works together. We all know this, but when we extrapolate these technologies out, it's like humans have a hard time understanding exponential growth. And we just can't fathom that if we actually get real world AI in Tesla cars, which means that they can drive themselves. I mean, it's like the way you think about, the way you grasp it is by saying, "Oh wow, that would be so cool." Which is just ridiculous. It's not cool. It's literally earth-shattering technology. It will redefine the face of the earth, like everything. Like it's the way you live your life will be completely different. Take me as an example. I love to go to, and I love to travel to different cities here in Denmark and traverse terrain, walk around in forest and go to different places that I haven't been before. And if there were self-driving cars, I wouldn't need a car to go anywhere. I could just book a Tesla to come pick me up and drive me anywhere I want, and then just, put me at the spot, and they could drive off and pick someone else up, and I could then order one for when I think I want to go home, and it comes by and picks me up. I mean, it's just, there's so many, and of course that's just one example for me personally. For the entire globe there's a million examples, but to understand the magnitude and the scale of what's going on is so hard. And I think that is where this opportunity lies. The convergence of technologies, I think, is the single biggest and misunderstood, let's say, investing opportunity, or whatever you want to call it, that we have today at all in terms of anything. I think being bullish on the blockchain and being bullish on AI and genomics and robotics, 3D printing and all of this, I think that's great. What you're missing is you're missing the devil in the detail. you're missing the point of, like, it's amazing that SpaceX will, be able to have the Starship for sending people to Mars. So as humans, we think like, okay, Starship, people to Mars, that's it, You forget that you can now load hundreds of Starlink satellites into that Starship, that you can launch even more frequently than you could before. Now comes the exponential growth. So you can, like, in a few years, you can go from an okay Starlink constellation to something that covers the globe and everyone can use for a fraction of the price. I'm not saying 50%, I'm saying an actual fraction of the cost, which is nothing compared to what it was previously. And that then allows for, let's say, public blockchain to become more available, because now the internet is available for a lot more people. Maybe, like, let's say hundreds of millions of more additional users will be onboarded, and that's the whole point. And the key takeaway I have with blockchain and his presentation is, there are, at some of the slides, he shows that smart contracts and public blockchain actually is a huge part of this convergence of technologies, because it's kind of like, it's not necessary. It's like, so what I'm trying to say here is, when we talk about blockchain and crypto, it's always with this idea that crypto will replace the financial system, because that's a concept we understand. We can understand, and we can kind of accept it in some way. It's so difficult to explain this, because that's human psychology. You want to grasp things in a human way, and the point here is, maybe it's not replacing the financial system. Maybe it's creating a new world. If you get my point, this is really hard to explain, but, like, if you think about it in a different way, where it's not creating another financial system, it's creating another system. Well, you might say, well, isn't it with finance involved? Yes, it is, but it's so different. Maybe it's not called finance anymore. Maybe it's something different. I'm just trying to. I'm not saying what I think is correct or anything. I'm just trying to walk you through why the future things could be completely different and not have the same terms that we have today in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it's not called finance. Maybe it's just blockchain. The world of blockchain, not the world of finance. I think these things is what gets me so excited about the future and investing and learning, because it is exponential growth. It's not about getting rich necessarily, because investing can go up and down and all around the place. I think what's cool and what's really going to be rewarding is understanding just how big this can become, and then in terms of you investing, landing a nice in a nice spot, so to speak, in the future, where you haven't sold off too early, or you haven't taken any profits, and things maybe pull back from some highs or whatever, and you kind of miss the boat in any direction because you're just too overwhelmed and too hyped, or had a lot of FOMO or whatever, So no FOMO, only NOMO, no missing out. All right, I think this is part one of me diving into this. I want to do another part where I'm at home, where I can show the graphs and really go into the details about the whole presentation. This is just an overview to get you fired up and excited. So yeah, this is crazy, man. Tesla Investor Day. Literally the day after the Investor Day, you have this coming out with big ideas from ARK Invest, converging technologies. I mean, wow. This is exciting. So yeah, drop a like if you want. See you in the next one. Bye.